butterfly in the sky. I can go twice as high. Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow.
Good morning, church family, and welcome to Reading the Word Rainbow. TBN, the Timminsville Broadcasting Network. I'm your host, the Reverend Billy Ray Jenkins, pastor of the First Church of God in Suite A on the Frontage Road in the metropolitan area of Quimby, South Carolina. LeVar Burton is out today due to an optometrist appointment. Have you ever wondered what it was like to be a pastor? To walk the walk, to talk the talk? Well, today we're going to read a book. It's a book about Neil Nolan. That's the story. That's the story of your pastor. But you don't have to take my word for it. He was born on a hot summer day of July 6th, 1978. It was a mediocre day. The Neil Nolan family, content as could be, but then all that changed. Because a child was born, unto them a son was given, and that son's name was Neil Nolan, your pastor. He was born with a Bible in his hand, raised on locust and wild honey. He grew up in Society Hill, the land flowing with milk and honey. He knew from an early age that he was going to be a pastor when his mama started dressing him up in preacher costumes. His first words were yes and amen. He would preach fire and brimstone, morning, noon, and night. People would come as far as Boggy Branch Road, forging Cedar Creek along the way, just to hear him preach. But growing up, there was one problem. Should he work his family's logging business, or should he go into preaching? At a young age, his daddy felt that he should work the family business, but he wanted to preach. So Pastor Neil disguised himself, so neither his mama nor his daddy nor his brothers nor friends could recognize him. I say unrecognizable, and set off on a journey, a long journey, toiling the travails of Mother Nature, not looking back. His goal, to become a preacher, as Luke 10:4 states, carry neither purse nor scrip nor shoes, and salute no man by the way. He got as far as Spot Mill Creek before he realized that he had neither fish nor bread, and his mama was cooking fried pork chops that evening. So he found his way back home, and he pedaled faster than he had ever before. At that moment, he recognized his talent for riding a bike, winning many awards along the way. He knew he would enjoy athletics. He went on to play football. Look at your neighbor and say football. He went on to play football in high school in the position of tailback. That was even his nickname, because his coach always encouraged him to get his tail back on the bench. His tailback position was key to their success, leading to the state championship in 1995. He even graduated from high school and got his own car that never worked. Yet, the question remained, should I work in my family business, or should I go on to preach? This dichotomous question lingered in the confines of his mind. I said it lingered. It lingered in the mind of Neil Nolan, reminiscing that old heathen song, should I stay or should I go? It wasn't until a logging incident that his father's full support towards Pastor Neil moving on to preaching was realized. It was that afternoon when his father told Neal, "Go back up to the house and never look back again." So, after all that, do you think Pastor Neal set off on a road as a preacher? No, as a vagabond and hippie, dodging the draft and living a reprehensible life of veganism. It wasn't until 2 weeks after much persuasion and knowing the right people that the state overseer recommended him to his first church. He was a good preacher, preaching the word in season and out of season, fervently rebuking and reproving. It wasn't until one night that the deacon board of that church said they felt like Pastor Neal was being called to another church. It coincidentally happened after a night of revival when he was preaching about hell. There occurred a small church in the vestibule, and a few congregants were mysteriously admitted to the hospital for third-degree burns. Needless to say, he obediently moved on. Just like Shadrach, Meshach, and a billy goat, he went through the fire. Look at your neighbor and say, "Through the fire." He went through the fire, but that question once again raised his ugly head. Should I stay or should I go? Persecuted for righteousness, he would say, living off the land, returning to his roots of a locust and wild honey, preparing venison stew over an open fire like Esau. He caught and hunted all he had to live on. He moved on to his next church, working with adults, teens, and youth. Once again, fervently and prayerfully leading the congregants and bringing in the sheaves. But all that changed when a few calls were made to DSS for burying his child alive while preaching a sermon on Lazarus. At that moment, he realized he was approaching his messages all the wrong way. So he began to focus on baptism. Surely, with this message, no one would get burned or buried. His first baptism sermon didn't have as many attendees because of the way Pastor Neal wanted his congregants to participate. And after one tithe payer drowned, he realized he needed to use shallower water. When questioned about his approach, he explained that he just wanted his members to, quote, "step into the water, wade out a little bit deeper." He once again changed his strategy on how he baptized his congregants and decided to use shallower water. But after that didn't go quite as planned. No, he didn't walk on water and he didn't drown, but he was like Noah. He made it through the flood, even though he was recommended by the overseer at that moment to attend another church. And guess what, church family? That is your church. That is our church. We don't know what's next. It could be a burned sanctuary, a buried child, a baptism gone awry. But all I can say is, grab your life vest, your burn cream, and your child's hand and embrace the journey, church. And if you're asking yourself, should I stay or should I go? Let me say, you need to stay because you don't want to miss out on the next great thing in Pastor Neil Nolan's ministry. With every head bowed and every eye closed and no one looking around. I'm not here to embarrass you. No one here is here to embarrass you. But for those of you watching, and would like to donate to ITBN Ministry with a suggested value of $99, if you would just call the number on the screen, 888-555-5555. We have a call line waiting, and if you would like to donate $99, it's tax deductible, and you can send that donation and we'll send you a copy a gift copy of our book, Should I Stay or Should I Go? An almost but not completely true story of becoming a pastor by Bob Nolan. Just call the number right now and we'll be glad to receive your monetary donations. But you don't have to take my word for it.